Good morning and welcome to Climate is Everybody's Business and the webinar Save Money, Save Energy, Save the Planet. Before we begin, I wanted to thank our project partners, Mothers Out Front, the Brookline Chamber of Commerce, Climate Action Brookline, and Boyer Sudduth Environmental Consultants. We also have event partners today, the Brookline Rotary, the Small Business Development Committee, the Select Board's Climate Action Committee, the Coolidge Corner Merchants Association, the Brookline Village Business Association, as well as Massachusetts Interfaith Power and Light. The project is sponsored by the Brookline Community Foundation, the New England Grassroots Environmental Fund, Brookline Bank, EVERSOURCES, the Hamilton Company Charitable Foundation, and Chestnut Hill Realty. We will begin with introductions. David Gladstone is with us this morning representing Brookline Bank as well as the Chamber of Commerce. And I'm Ann Sudduth, and I am the project manager for Climate is Everybody's Business representing Boyer Sudduth Environmental Consultants. So who is with us? During normal times, we would be gathered in person, like this picture here from last fall's workshop. But today we do actually have a great cross-section of folks from Brookline, businesses, faith organizations, nonprofits, and residents from all across Brookline, which is wonderful. So thank you all for joining us. David's going to share with us what our focus is for today's webinar.
Thank you. So the focus for today is how can we save money by making changes to our energy use? What free resources are available through Mass Save? And what is Brookline Green Electricity? Our agenda overview is what is climate is everyone's business, why energy, save money with energy efficiency, save money with energy conservation, opt up to Brookline Green Electricity, and a special panel of breakout rooms of Ask the Experts.
Great. We're going to start with a pre-webinar poll. We're going to ask everybody the same question at the end of the webinar, but we want to know, for starters, how knowledgeable folks feel about energy efficiency, energy conservation, and green energy. So we're going to launch the poll. All right, so let's switch over to the next slide. We've got some great presenters today. You already met David Gladstone and myself, Ann Sudduth. And then next up on our docket is Tommy VITOLO, who is one of our state representatives. Tommy is also, lucky for us, an expert in energy as a former consultant in that arena. So we're going to hear from Tommy, and then we're going to hear from MAUREEN, who's one of the program managers at EVERSOURCES Energy, focused on serving the commercial sector, particularly small businesses, around energy efficiency. And then next is Diane Sokol, who is a lead AP and a registered architect. She's also a leader within the Brookline Mothers Out Front group, and she's going to be speaking to us about energy conservation. And then Kara Bruton, who is the Economic Development Director for the town of Brookline. She's a great champion of sustainability and climate action in Brookline, and she's going to be talking with us about the wonderful green electricity program here in Brookline. We also have some other experts in the room that you'll meet later on who will be leading some of our breakout sessions. We have Jim Nail, who's joining us from Massachusetts Interfaith Power and Light. He's a real expert to serve those in the faith community who are interested in taking action around climate and sustainability. And then we also have Mary McCarthy joining us from EVERSOURCES. She is working on their residential team, specifically focused on energy efficiency. And so we're really lucky to have her for folks who are coming representing their own households and are interested in understanding how EVERSOURCES and Mass Save could serve their needs. Before we jump into the meat of the matter, we wanted to just give you a brief overview of what is Climate is Everybody's Business, this program. As I mentioned, it is a program of Climate Action Brookline, and it is a collaboration with Brookline Mothers Out Front, the Brookline Chamber of Commerce, and Boyer Sudduth Environmental Consultants. It started in 2019 with a pilot, and the program has 4 parts that are listed here on the slide. We have workshops that are like today's program, previously in person, now online. We have an online self-assessment of sustainable and climate-friendly practices that businesses, nonprofits, faith organizations, and individuals can take to improve the sustainability of their operations. We also have a peer learning exchange for participants. And finally, a recognition program to celebrate all the steps that businesses and nonprofits and faith organizations or individuals are doing to green their organizations. I am now, Tommy, if you are ready, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm actually in North Carolina volunteering for several candidates for the week. I'm staying at my mother-in-law's house, which means how y'all doing is more relevant. It also means that my internet can be spotty. So like if it just fails, move on to the next speaker and I'll have to come back and we'll do the best we can. I want to talk a little bit about energy. And this first chart shows where our emissions are coming from. And this is a national chart, which means it's not exactly Massachusetts and not exactly Brookline. But what I want you to see is that electric power emissions have fallen fairly steadily, not quickly enough, but fairly steadily over the last 15 years. On the other hand, transportation, industry, buildings, and other, which is predominantly agriculture, are relatively flat. We haven't really made any progress in any of those areas in the last 15 years. And if you're thinking like I am, that climate scientists know what they're talking about, we need to really drive all of these lines down to or near zero over the next 10, 15, 20 years. So we've got a lot of work to do. There's really two ways you can drive down emissions. The first way is to use less energy, right? With the exception of agriculture, everything on that prior slide was burning fossil fuels for power, for transportation, to heat our homes or businesses. And so the way to emit less is to burn less, right? And so if you're a business, perhaps you can, your business or your employees associated with your business can use less energy by using public transit, biking, or walking. We've actually done a great job in the last 6 months exploring telecommuting as a way to use less transportation. The other thing I'm going to add, and this is where it gets a little tough on folks, is if we create more parking, we create more driving. If we provide parking for our employees, we're all but guaranteeing that they're going to drive, right? If we buy the $500 or whatever it costs, Kara Bruton would know, on-street parking permit for our employee, we know they're going to drive. If we ask them to pay for their own transportation, they just might not. And so we need to be cognizant that when we subsidize driving, we're going to get more of it, and that includes within our own businesses. For electric power, of course, using less means electric energy efficiency. Mostly that's going to be around lighting and cooling. Certainly, dialing up Mass Save and getting them involved is a great way to do it. I'm sure we'll hear more about that today. And the other thing I want to just sort of acknowledge is there's a triple net lease disincentive problem. And that is that if the building owner is paying the energy bill, then you, the occupant, don't have an incentive to be careful about the use. On the other hand, if the building occupant is paying the energy bill, the building owner has no incentive to install energy efficient equipment, insulation, air sealing, and so forth. And so this incentive problem can be very real, and fighting through it is a challenge. And maybe banks are a place to get help there, but it's something to be cognizant of. The building use itself, again, we're talking about heating, space, and water, so energy efficiency, Mass Save, and again, there's that triple net lease disincentive. And then finally, if you want to use less energy, you can actually reduce the agricultural emissions by eating less meat and eating less four-legged meat, right? Two-legged meat or zero-legged meat almost always has less emissions, four-legged meat. Moving on. And stay away from the 100-legged meat. Centipedes are not that delicious, contrary to what you may have heard. The other thing you can do is use better energy. So for transportation, that's electric vehicles, right? Because electric energy has lower emissions and it's easier to drive those emissions down. For electric power, that's two things. That's on-site renewables. If you can do solar, go for it. If not, you want to be looking at Brookline Green, or even better, the Brookline Green 65 or Brookline Green All programs, so that the electricity you are using has more renewables, emits less. And finally, for buildings, this is where electrification is so important, not always easy to do depending on who owns the building and who's operating it, but you want to be thinking about switching your furnaces and your boilers over to electric. That's both for space heating and for water heating. So really that's it. Use less energy and use better energy, and you're living in the 21st century.
Thank you so much, Tommy. We're going to switch it over now to Maureen KIELY from EVERSOURCE. Tommy, we're grateful for your engagement in this program. And Maureen, thank you so much for joining us again this year.
Yes, absolutely. Good morning, everyone. So I just want to talk a little bit about what we offer for small businesses. But before I do, Tommy just mentioned about the electric vehicles, and I do want to mention that we do have a great program for electric vehicle EV stations. So anybody that's interested in that can certainly reach out to us, and we can get you aligned with the people that handle that.
Maureen, can I just interrupt for 1 second? When you say small business, I just want to clarify also that folks understand that means small account holders, really, right? It doesn't have to be a for-profit business.
Right, right, absolutely. Yeah, so when I talk about small businesses, it's about usage. And the way we sort of calculated it, it's those customers that use less than 1.45 million kWh annually. So it could be a small office building, it could be a church, it could be anybody really. But what our big thing is, in particularly with this program, is to lower operating costs and increase working capital. So what we are doing currently is we are providing up to 100% incentive for energy efficient measures. And we welcome anyone to reach out to us that's interested in perhaps changing lighting out, adding controls to their current lighting, and having a full energy assessment, which is done at no cost. Obviously, any cost that would be associated with any changes, we do offer 0% financing for up to 2 years. Our goal is to lower your energy bills and make more dollars available for non-energy investments. This was a big thing when there was a change in the costs for employees when they, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on this, when they went up on their, the minimum wage, excuse me, on the minimum wage. This was a great way, when people were able to save energy, they were able to reinvest that in subsidizing some of the minimum wage increases. Obviously, we want to improve the environment for your business with lighting, heating, and cooling, and happier customers and happier employees is what that results in. We've seen a substantial difference when you look at two businesses, two windows as an example, that may be showing in retail, maybe showing the same red dress. Lighting can change the way that red dress looks and can affect sales, believe it or not. So that's one of the many advantages of taking advantage of this program. Obviously, we have a vendor that we are, Lime Energy, that works with us in Brookline, and that vendor would come out and do a no-cost energy assessment, and it's a full turnkey approach from the assessment through the proposal to the install to removing the recyclables. So it's a very simple process. So this is basically the customers that we are looking at for the most part: retail stores, small offices, grocery and convenience stores, gas stations, restaurants, houses of worship, small manufacturing, and any business on the commercial rate. Now, I speak about small business, but we do have great programs for our large businesses. I know in Brookline, Boston University is one of the large businesses, and they work tirelessly at updating their energy measures. And we have account executives that work with those people directly. We, on the small business side, have our vendor partners that will go out and as I said, provide you a no-cost energy assessment. They'll provide you a proposal. They'll look at what your current use is and how they can help you save energy, and give you an idea of what that's going to result in dollars saved as well. So, certainly I welcome anybody to reach out to me at any time. I do have one of my colleagues who I would like to just have jump in here for a minute, Mary McCarthy, who is the person on residential, just to give you a brief overview on our residential program. And she's also in charge of our education program. So I'll just have Mary jump in now.
Hi, good morning. I'm not sure how much time I have. I thought most of the questions would be in the chat, but I'll briefly go through quickly. EverSource through MassSave offers many programs for our residential customers. Probably the most comprehensive one would be the home energy audit. So we offer home energy audit for single family homes, multifamily dwellings and for low income development, single family and multifamily. And in the audits, they come around and basically do a walkthrough of your building or home and tell customers where they can be more efficient, and then offer them some of the programs that we have. For example, we have 100% air sealing that's paid for through Mass Save. We also have up to 75% of the insulation would be paid for. On the low income side, it's more of 100% of everything is paid. And then customers can take advantage of a 0% loan called the heat loan, which they can use to do some of the upgrades, like upgrade your insulation, your windows, your heating system, your water heater, which you could also use that for a solar water heater, for different energy improvements in your home. So we can talk more about that in the question and answers if customers had it. We also have rebates on products that you can go into a Home Depot or any appliance store. We have rebates on dryers, Energy Star dryers, Energy Star room air conditioners, air purifiers, and dehumidifiers. So then you can also go into retail stores and buy lighting already at a reduced cost because we buy it down before it gets to the store. So there's all sorts of incentives that you could take advantage of as a homeowner if you want to make some of these upgrades. For education, we have a substantial, robust education program with schools, from anywhere from teacher workshops that we provide free training to the teachers with supplies so they can do the experiments when they go back to the classroom. And as part of that, we pay for substitutes, lunch, and anything that's attributed to that training. We also have in-class programs you can take advantage of that are now online that teachers can assign or do with their class. We have special projects. We have a contest for the students. So we have a big array of things that our teachers can utilize to educate the students, our next customer, future customers. That's it in a nutshell.
Maureen, there's one question. Thank you, Mary. There's one question for you folks from Jim. Does EverSource provide incentives for energy management systems? We can also have more of a discussion with the Ask the Experts, but just thought I wanted to mention Jim's question.
Let me just look that up, what exactly is available in terms of that. We do provide, anytime we have energy savings, we pay incentives. I just don't know at what level the incentive is. So I will be glad to get that information back to Jim.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, I guess I'll just jump in right here. I'm Diane Sokol, and thank you to Maureen and to Mary for explaining the great energy efficiency opportunities with Mass Save. It happens that this week my house is getting insulation blown into the exterior walls. I'm getting it done for 100% of the cost covered by Mass Save. So you may hear some noise in the background.
Just let me jump in. The 100% ended on September 30th. So now it's
Okay.
back down to 75. So you got in there in good time.
My timing was perfect for
Yeah.
exchange.
And just to clarify though, the up to 100% is still eligible for commercial operations.
We've actually extended it through the end of the year. Yes, we still are providing 100% incentive. That's on our prescriptive measures. The things like heat pumps and stuff like that, the incentives are different. So
Okay, so people can ask more questions of you in the break.
absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so I'm going to talk briefly about energy conservation. So energy efficiency and energy conservation really go hand in hand to maximize savings, and that would be savings of energy costs, and savings of climate warming emissions. So it's good all around. So my Mothers Out Front colleague, Daria Mark, would continually remind us the most sustainable energy is the energy that you don't use. So what this is getting at is the topic of energy conservation, using less energy. So these two steps go hand in hand. First, you make your building energy efficient, and then you find ways of operating the building to conserve energy and use less energy. So let's start with lighting. When you're not going to be in a room, turn off the lights or install a motion sensor switch to automatically shut off the lights. You can also conserve energy by using a dimmer switch to make the light less bright, or a timer switch to automatically turn the lighting off and on a schedule. You could use that for exterior lights or storefront lights in a business. So if we look at energy conservation in heating and air conditioning, HVAC systems, there are many options out there for programmable thermostats, even some that can be controlled remotely from your mobile device. And MassSave offers discounts on these too. So remember in the winter that you can conserve energy by setting the heating temperature a few degrees cooler, maybe heat to 68 degrees instead of 72. And then conversely in the summer, you can set the air conditioning set point a few degrees higher, maybe cooling to 72 or 75 instead of 68. And also be sure to set a time of day and day of week controls on your programmable thermostat, because there's no use running your heating and air conditioning when nobody's in the building. So if you're a home or a small business that uses residential appliances like dishwashers or washing machines, when you need to replace an appliance, be sure to purchase an Energy Star model. You'll see these blue symbols or yellow tags. So how can you conserve energy with washing machines? First, you should run on a normal cycle or a short cycle and wash on the cold water setting. This will save energy on your water heating also. And you can conserve energy by hanging your clothes, all of them or some of them, instead of using the clothes dryer. And for dishwashers, most dishwashers have an energy conserving cycle. Sometimes it's called eco or auto, and that will save you energy and reduce the time on the cycle. So electronics can be a big energy load in offices, and right now in at-home offices. So when purchasing computers, monitors, printers, also TVs and other devices, be sure to look for that blue Energy Star logo, or you can see on my printer here, it's a black Energy Star logo. MassSave also gives out these smart power strips like the one shown in this photo as part of the free energy assessment. At least I got one or two. You plug in your computer or TV to what's called the control outlet, and then all the other connected devices go into these switched outlets that are green. So when the main device is shut down, then all the peripherals automatically get turned off. And this is a great way to eliminate what's been called phantom electric loads from devices that are continuously on and drawing power. So remember, the first step is energy efficiency, and resources are definitely available through MassSave and also through the Mass Clean Energy Center. They both have programs for businesses, for nonprofits, and for residents. And then as Tommy said, oh, sorry, and then this is, you can take, we all have the capacity to take further improvements with energy conservation after the energy efficiency. And the third step, as Tommy described, will be getting the cleanest energy you can. And Kara Bruton will be speaking about the Brookline Green Electricity Program.
Thanks, Diane. That was great. Kara, it's up to you.
Great, thank you. Thanks, Diane, for going over why it's so important to start with reducing energy. And of the energy that we purchase, we have options to purchase electricity from renewable sources. So we are now in the second quarter of the fourth year of Brookline's Community Choice Aggregation Program. We just call this Brookline Green Electricity. It's a lot easier. Programs like ours allow municipalities to negotiate with energy suppliers to get kind of a group price for energy, for electricity. So anybody that has a Brookline electricity account, whether you're a business or a resident, are able to join this program, and you're able to choose different rates of purchasing renewable energy. So this came about through a collaboration of some of the people you see here and many others, including Mothers Out Front, Climate Action Brookline, the Select Board, planning staff, including Maria Morelli here in the back, and town meeting members such as our representative, Tommy VITOLO. So the Brookline Green Electricity Program, there's a default when you have an electricity bill in town. So you open up a new restaurant, when you get your bill, sometime afterwards, within 6 months or so, you'll get a letter that says, you know, welcome, you are now in the Brookline Green Electricity Program. You can choose to get out of the program if you'd like, but our default is that the electricity program is 30% more at renewable energy than what the state already requires in your kind of base electricity bill. So the default is 46% green electricity. If you do nothing except open a new account in town, you will be purchasing 46% renewable electricity, which is great. We do have other options, including going up to 60%, going all the way down to just exactly the state standard. And that could be, cost savings for people. And what we want to talk about in this group today is the option to go up to 100% renewable. So things to know about our program: the supplier that is in this phase of our program is Direct Energy, and the duration of this contract is for 35 months. We just started in January, so it's another couple of years. That means that the price is fixed. It's not going to go up or down every 6 months, and there's not going to be balloon rates that sometimes third-party suppliers will try to sell you, that kind of thing. So the cost for 100% green electricity for the supply is 0.13715 cents per kilowatt hour. And the reason why I'm highlighting this number, okay, sorry. So for what this means is for just over $12 per month, the average Brookline household using 539 kilowatt monthly could displace the equivalent of emissions produced by driving 3,681 miles in a passenger car per year. So that's a pretty good, that's a pretty amazing impact of equivalent, reducing emissions. And another way I wanted to kind of tell you guys about the opt-out program to date is it's quite amazing. So another way we can think about this is we are beginning construction of solar panels on the roof in town at the Crane Pool, Tappan Gym, Ridley Elementary School in Coolidge Corner, Runkle Elementary School, and the eastern wing of the main high school building. When those are all built and up and going, when we compare the energy that is producing and putting that renewable energy on the grid, that is 1/5 of the additional renewable energy that has been purchased by our 100% opt-out accounts in this program in the year from July 2019 to July 2020. So those that have already joined in the 100% up program, you're having an amazing impact on showing that there is a demand for renewable energy in the New England grid. So if you want to look at your bill and see if you've already signed up, just pull out your bill and look here at the total charges for electricity, and it'll say supplier, Direct Energy, Town of Brookline, and you can also double check that generation rate of 0.13715. So next we're going to do a quick poll to see if you've heard about the Brookline Green Electricity Program before today. We especially want to know how, so we can know what's working. It looks like almost half of you have already signed up for 100% green, which is wonderful. And also remember that in addition to, as Diane said, if you use less, you also pay less. So that's amazing. That's great. And it looks like the top kind of 3 ways that people have seen it are the tie, the Brookline tax bill, lawn signs. Oh, I see. And the third is about 14% of you have not heard about it before today. So that's also good. That means that we're doing something useful. Right now, we're going to have Ann Sudduth quickly recap what we've learned today.
Great. Thanks so much. I think what we're going to do is also just pause and answer some of the questions in the chat. We can just pause so folks have Kara's email address there in case they need it. But I saw some questions come up in the chat that seemed like it was worth mentioning. So since Kara's our last presenter, before I recap, let's just go back and answer some of these questions. I saw that there was one question about what type of renewable energy credits are being used in the Brookline Green Electricity Program. Tommy clarified that Brookline Green Electricity uses New England Class 1 renewable energy credits, or RECs. And I see Kara's nodding, so that is good.
Yes, and I'll also put a couple links in the chat that explain the details about both the state portfolio standard, the clean energy supply, as well as the RECs that we purchase, the New England Class 1 RECs.
Okay, great. And then I think this one goes to Maureen or to Mary. It's from Michael. Would there be any programs that would, for example, support putting film over retail windows to cut down on heat from the sun, or changing heating systems to allow for upgraded air filtration? Just, I think that sounds like some piece of that is related to COVID, and another piece is just energy loss. Anything?
Yeah. We do have locally a facade loan program. So this is a zero. I know, so many of our businesses, the last thing they want to do is take on more debt right now. But this is local funds. It's a revolving loan program, and it's on your, it's connected with personal credit. It's not connected with your business. And personal letter of credit. And what it does is it loans money for up to 5 years at 0% interest. There is I think a $1,000 administration fee or something like that, but you can get up to $10,000, sorry, $100 administration fee, somewhere around there. And this loan is for the facade, so it's basically for that barrier between public and private space. So it would be definitely, we've done window replacements, knee wall replacements, the molding, the kind of around the window where you can get a lot of energy loss, door replacements, even one restaurant has used this program to take out the glass and put in retractable windows with an air blower, so that in the summer months you can keep out the insects from the restaurant just enough, but you can have natural air in the restaurant. So email me, kbruton@brooklinema.gov. We can send you more information about the facade loan program. I believe it would cover things like film for the window, but you might want to think about more than that for energy efficiency of your whole kind of facade. It does not cover internal things like HVAC systems.
Great. And then a question that I know we only have 1 minute until we need to switch over, but for Maureen, this might be something that you all could answer. Most houses of worship are on residential rates. Do they qualify under the residential or the small commercial programs with EverSource and Mass Save? It sounds like there's often some confusion around this.
All houses of worship are treated as small businesses, so they're treated the same way every other small business commercial customer would be. So any one of them can reach out to us, and right now, like we said, is the 100%. And just to touch on that other question that was just asked about the right now we're covering 100% on all prescriptive measures, but anything beyond that, we certainly will review with our engineers. And if it passes the BCR, then we will provide incentive dollars.
Great. So I'm just going to clarify for anybody who's here representing a nonprofit, a business, a faith organization, that Mass Save and EverSource, their sponsor, is paying up to 100% of energy efficiency upgrades, from new lighting to insulation. And so we want to make sure that you guys take advantage of that opportunity and connect with any questions you have with Maureen or with her team that are going to be in the breakout session. So we can switch slides. We're going to just do a quick recap before we move on to the next section. So we've talked about 3 different ways you can take action on energy today. Number 1 is to get an energy assessment. Maureen talked about Mass Save and how they can come in, give you this free energy assessment, either virtually or in person, and give you specific recommendations for what would improve the energy efficiency of your facility. And that will lead directly to energy savings and cost savings, right, for energy efficiency. 2 is unplug, turn down, turn off. Diane explained you can automate some of these actions with timers, smart strips, programmable thermostats, so that you can just set it and forget it. 3 is opting up to 100% renewable electricity, which we heard about from Kara, that the town of Brookline's all green program. It's easy, really powerful way to reduce your climate emissions. We're going to recap these 3 steps in an email that we'll send to you following up with some of those key links that we've all mentioned. So that is something that you can look in your email for. We're next going to just do that quick poll again that we saw at the beginning, just to see whether you feel more knowledgeable now about energy efficiency, energy conservation, and green energy. And Maureen, while we're waiting, we do have one question, which is, could you define what prescriptive measures means?
Prescriptive measures include things like lighting controls, thermostats, aerators, pipe insulation, those types of things. Non-prescriptive would be things like heat pumps, new boilers, those types of things. So So as I said, we have a whole list of prescriptive measures, which I can provide to anyone.
Okay.
But you can find that stuff all through Mass Save.
Great. Okay, and Casey, have you shared the results of the poll? Okay, great.
So the good news on that, Ann, is that 53% of the people feel that they know much more than before, and 7% feel that they know it all, and only 3% is questionable. So I think we're accomplishing our mission here by
Great.
people knowing much more now than they did when they came into this webinar.
Great. I want to just call folks' attention to the fact that we have a great website, gogreen.brooklinechamber.com, that has a ton of resources and information. There's how-to videos, and there's success stories about businesses and organizations that have taken concrete steps to reduce their energy use, to save money, and to save emissions for climate action. So really encourage you to go there. If there are things that you think should be there that aren't there already, please let us know, because this is really here for the Brookline community to be a resource. We really just wanted to say thank you to everybody. This was a great turnout. I think I understand everybody had great conversations in the small groups. I wanted to let everyone know we will be following up with an email just to recap and share the key links that we talked about today. But if you have any questions at all, please reach out. We're eager to continue the dialogue and build a network of folks within the community that are working to take action on energy through efficiency, conservation, and switching to green electricity. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And please do keep in touch and take action during October, Energy Awareness Month. We really appreciate all of your engagement.
And on behalf of all of our sponsors and all the people that put this together, I want to say thank you very much for being here, and thank you for everyone's participation. I think that it looks like a lot of people learned a lot of different things, and I think it was very positive. So thank you to everyone.